Hi, Ian Newton here again. Welcome to the Advanced EFT Protocols. Now, there are 101 different ways to do EFT, and when you scour around the site, you will find people doing different things. You won't find this very often. It's something I adapted from someone else's work, I can't remember who, back in the late 90s, and I haven't seen anybody refer to it, but I've used it ever since, and I find it very, very powerful. So let's say, for example, that you are a woman, and if you're not guys, just imagine, and you'd spent $500 on a pair of shoes, and you were going dancing tonight. You hop out of bed, excited about the day, you give your toe an almighty whack on the corner post of the bed. So what have you got now? You've got a painful injured toe you could tap for, even though I have this painful injured toe and it's so painful and it's just throbbing and it's really, really hurting me and I'm so upset. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. That's the thing. But then you have the layers. And so this is all about feelings, which we alluded to on the first video. And I want to touch on this first. But now you might suddenly get this feeling of sadness that you can't go dancing tonight. And you tap for, even though I feel so sad that I can't go dancing because I spent $500 and I'm so looking forward to it. Or it could be disappointment. I'm so disappointed. And you're sitting there and you look across the room and you see those shoes and they're kind of mocking you in the corner as if saying you can't go dancing. Or you might feel angry with yourself because you kicked your toe. How could I be so stupid? How could I possibly kick my toe? Or then annoyed at your partner because you asked him several times to put something foamy around the leg so you wouldn't hurt yourself. Can you see that a problem becomes more and more and more and more and more problems with the more feeling and the more stress? So you have to work on all those elements. Now, one way to encapture some of these elements, and these are key ones, is a slight variation. So you might start off with, even though I'm so upset and angry and disappointed, I deeply and completely love and accept myself, and do some tapping. And then when you get to this point here, you would tap, even though, I release all the anxiety and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. Take a breath in, breathe out. And once again, I release all the anxiety and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. Back of the head, I release all the physical stress and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. Once again, I release all the physical stress and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. Up here, I release all the fear and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. I release all the fear and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. I release all the anger and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. That's right. I release all the anger and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. I release all the sadness and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. I release all the resistance and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. I release all the negative beliefs and the deepest cause of this problem from my entire being. Okay, so there are a few things, and sometimes I'll work just on those, and I'll be referring to those things during the program, so you'll know what I'm talking about. Because if you can identify that this the absolute core problem is anger, then you really want to work on that, and you really want to work on releasing that. And you can do the muscle testing. You might start off and say, how angry am I? I'm a 10 out of 10 on this. And then you do a round and, I release all the anger and the deepest cause of this problem. Take a couple of breaths. How angry am I? 10, 9, I'm still 8. I release all the anger and the deepest cause of this problem. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I release all the anger. 3, 2, 1. That's kind of gone. So that's a good way to use this little add-on with EFT. I won't complicate EFT for you any further by adding any extra protocols, because those two really cover probably about 98% of the things with EFT. It's really about listening to yourself. What am I saying? What am I feeling? Now, a way to test EFT in addition to muscle testing is, say you are angry about going out or not being able to go out, and you just say to yourself, I kick my toe. And if it's just a piece of information, so, yep, okay. Or you say, I kick my toe, and then suddenly you get this, oh, and all these feelings come up. Hey, you've got to do some more work. Now, the reality is, with some problems, some really big problems, such as the grief problem I alluded to in the other video, that problem can't go away. If you're grieving for someone, that just doesn't suddenly become data. But what it becomes is manageable. So that instead of having your grief stress being so big that you can't even bear it, you can bring it down to where it's manageable, that you can live with it, that you can function. And sometimes that's the best you can do, is get to a point where you can carry on and function instead of feeling like rolling up in a ball on your bed. Great. Work with EFT, and we'll be visiting it a lot of times in this program. Thank you.